Guys, this is going to be a very weird video because normally these kind of posts are something that I would ignore, but this post is directly talking about the community and it's directly agreeing with something that I've said before, but then it also confuses the heck out of me in some other ways. And yeah, so I'm just going to give my perspective's opinion on what is happening here in comparison to what this post from Frank is saying, and then we have some context as well. We have some other posts to look through kind of similar to this that kind of go off of this. So yeah, this will be an interesting video. I should preface, I'm not trying to argue. I don't hate Frank. I don't dislike Frank. I'm just trying to figure this out for myself because I am somebody who's actively involved in not only the YouTube side of the community, but the Reddit and Twitter side of the community, both, which no longer exist in the Brawl Stars devs, or never existed in their eyes. I don't really know, but we'll get to that. It is interesting. I've never seen a gaming thing say this type of thing before. I've never seen it happen. So yeah, but it makes sense though. It is true. It's just that I've never seen a community manager say this before, or a game say this before at all about their community. It is true though. But okay, starting out, we have a post from OG and then reposted on Reddit, of course, because everything on Twitter shows up on Reddit. But yeah, OG says Brawl Stars has never been this out of touch with what the community wants, and it's killing their game. Now, this ties directly into the post that we're about to read, because it was finally acknowledged that the community that OG is talking about isn't real. Well, the YouTube side is more acknowledged than what I'm reading. Like, okay, so yeah, basically there's more people like seeing videos like this, or more people seeing YouTube videos in general than there are people seeing Reddit posts and Twitter posts and everything. They really are 1% of the community, and in that, they essentially don't exist or don't have any reason to be acknowledged by the devs. I know it's confusing, it's weird, but I've been saying this for a while. And I do have an explanation for everything, or at least my idea of the explanation, what I expect it is, because it's just what makes sense to me as somebody who has played games and seen games rise and fall and burn and crash and change and everything. I've seen, like, my life revolves around games, bro, like, and their communities too. So I'm gonna give my input in like that sphere of things, and as the YouTuber of this game, like not the as a YouTuber of this game. But okay, so let's pick this apart. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. You can see it right in front of you. Read it if you want. Pause. I've already read it, so I'm just going to dissect it a little bit. Essentially, this post was originally made, which talks about how the Buffy's update leading into the Stranger Things update leading into the latest community event that everybody on these platforms actively hated, because it stripped every other aspect of the game away from players who wanted to play the rest of the game. And he does acknowledge that they should find ways to not have that happen. But basically that's what is leading into this. Like he's basically just saying that this event somehow, some way, actually I know the way and he also, okay, but it's like weird because that is also mentioned here as well, that it's not just casual players, or okay. We have a lot to go through. Okay, so you know, guys, a few days ago during the event when I said that pros don't exist, that we don't exist, and I was saying that because of the update stripping away all of these features, and I was curious, like, how could this event possibly do well for them in any aspect? How is it going to bring more players into the game or keep players on the game than it is like shoving them away? And this, I don't have any insider information, so I literally just have to make an educated guess on how things are going to go. But I always am like wrong in the sense that I don't even, like, I know, but I don't know that Brawl Stars is mostly just played by kids, and they will find things much like more interesting, certain things more interesting than I would. And this event is a prime example, because everybody who is either old enough or deep enough in the game to care enough to post about the game hated the event because it took the game away from them. Most people, not everybody, but most people. But this event led to really good engagement from the players who don't post or anything like that. And my assumption is because they are younger. Like that is the demographic. It's not something that you can argue. The demographic of this game is getting younger and younger and younger every single year that the game is out. And this is the exact kind of event that they would enjoy. So that makes perfect sense to me. Now, the reason why that makes me a little bit sad in a weird way is because originally the the target demographic of the game was just mostly based on the posts that Brawl Stars makes, but now it's like seeping into the actual gameplay. Like, those people are being catered so hard to the point where it's affecting us directly in the game. That is the part that I think is upsetting some people the most, at least. But yeah, people are basically very upset that Frank said Reddit and X is not the community. They are not the community. I don't even know if I should lump me in there. I do post on these, but they are not the community, essentially. It literally, that is what it says. And it is true. I've never seen a game developer or community manager or a game itself or whatever. I've just never seen that laid out so simply right there. But here he's essentially explaining that the update did well despite it not seeming that way, because we are the 1%. We're I guess we're the 3 to 5% of the community. So the other 95% of the kids loved it, and it did well for them, which is good for them. Good for them. But this is why it did well, and it didn't seem like it did, essentially. Now, this is kind of the part where it's like seeping into my personal experience with this game and everything revolving around the game and everything like that is this part here, the narrative that all of these people are casuals or new, referencing the people who are playing this event, and not generating money is incorrect and non-factual. It's not that we don't listen and want to listen to the people on these hardcore platforms, but these channels are not representative for the larger community. Now, obviously, he's correct about this because the game, the 5% of us are not generating how much money Brawl Stars is making every single month. That is literally just fact. Like, I'm not trying to say he's wrong about any of this, but I'm just trying to kind of explain how I think things are working, because I still don't love how it's working personally as somebody who is getting older every day, as we all are, and would like to talk about this game with my friends, with family friends. None of them want to talk about this game. Everybody I have ever known that has ever talked about this game and or played it that I've known personally, this game doesn't exist in their minds anymore because it has strayed so far away from their demographic. Like, it is too late. It is too far gone. And while these players may not be casual, and while they are generating money, I do think that they are all just kids using their birthday money or something like that. There are outliers, of course, but I think that is also like 2% of the player base, like 2 to 5%, some of which are probably lumped in this number of the community. A lot of which probably, but are closer to my demographic are people who would take other games on other platforms seriously. Like, most people who do play mobile games do it because either it's just like what they've grown up with, or it's because they don't have a console, they don't have a PC, they don't have other options, and then they get hooked on mobile games, and then they start growing up, and then they just continue with that. Like, that was my experience for a while. I didn't have internet for a while. I had data, really limited. The only games I could play were these games. Yeah, I don't know. It's been like a common thing I've been seeing everywhere as well. So I don't know. That's just what I think right now. Every game's gonna have whales. Every game also is very different depending on the country that is playing the game. The demographics can be completely different. Like, for a lot of games that happens where one country it seems like really dry, another country it is just absolutely booming. So the age demographic could be different in other places, but at least where I am, also people could lie about their age when they sign into the game. I know a lot of kids would probably raise their thing to like 18 plus, so then they can not get locked out of features. I did that when I was a kid. I'm sure at least like 70% of kids do that to this day because it just makes sense that you don't want to get locked out of features. I did it as well. My point is that if this like larger, more dedicated, hardcore part of the community is not getting listened to, then the majority of people who are getting listened to are just the kids, and they're going to be running this game. Now, I need to preface, this game has always been for kids. The lore, the lore for this game was kids using their phone control everything. They control the universe. It has always been for kids, and it's just, it's been diving deeper into that. But at least at a certain point a couple years ago, like when it first really blew up, older people were still talking about the game. Now we're beyond that point where it's really kid friendly, like really kid friendly. And it's odd because some of the jokes that are made in the like videos and stuff are going the opposite direction. Like the jokes are like sometimes a little uncomfortable even for me. I'm like, wow, like this is an intense joke, like somebody's like bare booty cheeks blurred on the screen and stuff. Stuff like that is interesting. But then we get like a Baby Shark collab and stuff like that, so it's really back and forth, honestly. Now, I should also say that I don't fault them for deciding, whether they decided this or not to listen to the Reddit and Twitter communities, because these communities will pick apart every single little thing that happens and make it seem like the worst thing in the world. And that, I think that is really rubbed off on me, because ever since I started like looking at Reddit video or making Reddit videos and Twitter videos, my perception on the game has become so much more negative when I think it really shouldn't have been. Like, as the only person I know that does this kind of series and just looks at what's happening and what's there, I think like it definitely has had an impact on my opinion on the game, like definitely, and it probably shouldn't have. I think the issue there is that I do, like, to some extent, agree with most of the things that are being said. Some of them are like, this is like stupid, why are you going this far, this doesn't make it's like not that, it's in such a nothing burger. And there are a lot of other things where I was like, yeah, this is like weird, why is this happening? So like, for example, there are other games that I could go into the communities for, like Terraria or stuff like that, and if they do something, or if I'm seeing a bunch of hate on the game, I would not understand it. In this case, I do, because some of the points just do make sense. Like they just make sense. So that's also like why I've been so affected by it. Okay, let's move on a little bit. I said I wasn't gonna like read it word for word, but I just need to like rack my brain, so I am gonna read it a little bit word for word here. People who are unhappy with what we do leave the game, play less, and ultimately monetize less, none of which are great for us, obviously. Reversely, when our internal numbers show the opposite, people are playing more, coming back to the game, talk more about Brawl Stars, and I wonder what this part means, because this would just refer to like Twitter, and I know you can talk to it about in like real life to your friends, but as I've said, every single person I've ever known that has ever talked about this game that is not a creator about this game has completely shut it out of their mind. It is gone. It is gone. I know I'm just a single like little example here, but every time somebody has told their kid about Nubs 3, like their little kid, there are like many instances of this, by the way, they're hooked. Everything that happens supports my idea that this game is just getting younger. That's why I keep talking about it, because it's like it's just a big topic. Yeah, I don't want this to become a Roblox game. Reddit and X tend to be echo chambers of opinions. We're trying to filter what's what and make the best decision for most of our players, and whenever we succeed with this, the game does well. Like when we introduced Star Drops, a decision hated by Reddit and X that literally turned us from our lowest moment and helped us achieve our best moments in the game ever, which is true. It was a very temporary thing that happened. And of course, players didn't like it because it changed a fundamental mechanic of the game. It changed the entire progression system, and a lot of people didn't know how to feel about that, if it would be good, if it would be bad. Eventually, it turned out to be good, obviously, but I think that negativity is the thing that people would like to jump to when people don't like change, right? And it's just a thing that it just happens. Like, you're going to get negativity when you make a change that big. So of course it was seen negatively. I think if any game were to do that, were to change their entire progression system, change it how it works entirely, they would receive negativity. I don't think there's a single instance where that would not happen, unless it's like we're giving everything away for free. Then of course it would be good. Now, on the contrary, they did remove boxes to remove RNG from the game, added Star Drops as a little free-to-play RNG, and now we're at the point where we have 20 plus different types of boxes and drops in the game all at once. Maybe not 20, I'm exaggerating. There was a short where I added up at least like 11 though. There's plenty of things that you can buy, earn, or buy in bulk. All of which relate to RNG Gamba, is my point here. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Now again, I don't know any internal information. I'm just expressing my POV of the Brawl Star sphere and how things work. It is interesting. It is new. It is very new. Oh, my microphone. Okay, but this all, I don't even know if I said everything I wanted to say. Maybe I'll make another video on this if I forgot some stuff, or I'll just mention it later. But this also leads into some other things that have happened here, most of which includes just the new update and Globert not coming out with mythic skins. Now, the reason I talk about this is because there is another post that was made that essentially says that they made the decision not to release brawlers with mythic skins at release anymore, largely based on community feedback. And that confused me because I thought we weren't the community. But like, I mean, they can do whatever they want. I don't know if it was really a community thing or not, but they can do what they want. I really don't care. Because like, of course people liked getting mythic skins on the brawler that just came out from the box. Of course people liked that. The only thing that people weren't saying remove mythic skins from the boxes. They were saying, oh damn, I got a mythic skin instead of the brawler. I got jebaited. I'm sure some people took that a step farther. I'm sure a lot of people took that a step farther, but that's really all it boiled down to, is like, oh, I got jebaited from the box. Oh no, poor me. But of course people liked there being mythic skins in the boxes, so of course people are now upset that that it's been removed. Not only are they removing them from the boxes though, they're not adding, to my knowledge, from what I'm understanding here, what I'm picking up, they're not adding mythic skins to new brawlers at all. So their box is just going to be the brawler. So another update where features are just getting removed, which, to each their own, do what you want. Okay, that's a weird segue into something that interested me, because this event where they did the whole assassin thing, now this is like a really nitpicky situation. This might have happened to like 0.0001% of people, or if they did it on purpose, but there were technically some people who could not even play ranked because they didn't have a lot of the brawlers, and then the rest of them get banned and everybody else gets picked in your last pick, and then you're down to 0. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Oh, not only that, but you do get punished. You do get banned if this happens. All right, I'm just gonna let this little video presentation of this happening play while I do my little outro. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, use code NUBS. I hope I was not like too harsh on what I said in this video. Really, the point of it was to show my perspective on everything. As I said like 5 times, like it's hard for me to understand certain things based on what I'm seeing revolving around the game every single day, as somebody who's actively in these communities, has a YouTube channel. I'm more involved in this than I am in like the dev talks or anything like that. However, no matter what is said, unless I'm like somehow shown like definite proof of the demographic of this game, I do think that the game is getting younger. The whole reason this whole discussion came up and like about the event doing well and stuff is because this game is just ran by kids who don't go on Twitter, don't go on Reddit, maybe watch YouTube Kids. I'm sure that the Brawl Stars videos are on YouTube Kids as well. They might not be that young though, but overall, I do think that the average demographic of this game is like 12 years old and under. And that's just how it is. That is what is being catered to. I think that the event is proof enough because most people, this community is older for the most part, and at least older than 12, like at least, and then going up to like pushing 30. There are not many of us, no. That is why we are so small, because people don't want to talk about this game. Like average gamers don't want to play this game. And I think that's something that was realized and then pushed even farther. Like the thing is, Clash Royale is a game that could be played by anyone. Streamers have played it. Big streamers have played it. My mic is actually broken. Big streamers have played it. Jinxie got into it. Jinxie, somebody who grew up with the game. He also played Brawl Stars, and guess what? He doesn't care for it. Now, obviously, that could mean many things. Maybe he just didn't like the game. I do think that the direction of the games like advertisement and just who they are trying to reach also affected that decision. Like if Clash Royale, guys, if Clash Royale was acting the way that Brawl Stars does in terms of community and videos and events, they'd probably have like a third of their player base, because the game is too difficult for kids to play. And yeah, Brawl Stars is not that though. Brawl Stars is not too difficult for kids to play because we got characters like Edgar. That is why Edgar is such a popular brawler, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Okay, I rest my case on that. Again, I don't hate Frank. I don't hate the Brawl Star dev team. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I even agreed with like 80% of the things he says. I'm just confused on some of the smaller aspects of it, or things that were not mentioned. That is why I keep talking. I keep bringing this, like, the same things up over and over again in this video. Okay, actually doing the outro now. If you enjoyed it, use code NUBS. I just rambled for like 5 minutes. See you in the next one. Have a good night, guys.